as well. Because we can move into the church majestically and very peacefully.
Hello squaddies, I'm your loyal host Mike. Thank you for all the love, support and good vibes you bring to this channel. Whether you're a long-time subscriber or it's your first time here, I appreciate every view, every like, every comment. It truly means the world to me. This channel wouldn't be the same without you, and I'm so grateful to have you on this journey. Let's keep growing, keep sharing, and keep the good energy flowing. Thank you for being the best part of Daily Diaries Friday. Now let's dive in, squaddies. Once again, the outdated, parasitic institution of the British monarchy found itself facing public backlash as anti-monarchy protesters gathered in London. As the ever-privileged royal family, King Charles, Queen Camilla and the dull, overhyped duo of Prince William and Kate Middleton attended the annual Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey, members of Republic stood their ground in protest. Their message was loud, clear and increasingly impossible to ignore. The monarchy is obsolete, corrupt, and needs to be abolished. Armed with banners and signs that read, "Abolish the monarchy, not my king, ditch the duchies and down with the crown," the protesters ensured that this taxpayer-funded spectacle didn't go unchallenged. They represented a growing movement of people who refused to continue subsidizing the excessive lifestyle of a family that has done nothing to earn its wealth or status. Meanwhile, inside Westminster Abbey, the royals carried on with their usual charade, pretending they were still relevant in the 21st century, while the world outside continued to shift away from inherited privilege and towards genuine democracy. Commonwealth Day itself is an event steeped in historical hypocrisy. Formerly known as Empire Day, it was originally designed to glorify British colonial rule and reinforce the idea of the British Empire's dominance over the world. Even after the Empire's collapse, the monarchy rebranded it as Commonwealth Day, trying to disguise it as a harmless celebration of international unity. But in reality, it remains a relic of colonialism, an annual reminder of Britain's exploitative past, paraded around as if it's something to be proud of. Many of the nations within the so-called Commonwealth are former colonies, many of which endured brutal oppression, economic exploitation, and outright theft at the hands of the British monarchy and its government. The monarchy, which directly benefited from these colonial endeavours for centuries, continues to act as if they have some moral right to preside over this association of nations. But countries are waking up. Barbados recently had the courage to cut ties with the monarchy and declare itself a republic, and more will follow in its footsteps. The presence of King Charles, Queen Camilla and the royals at the Commonwealth Day service is nothing more than a hollow performative display, an attempt to maintain the illusion that the monarchy still holds some kind of global significance. But outside Westminster Abbey, the truth was on full display. The protesters made it clear that the British people are increasingly unwilling to tolerate this outdated, unearned institution. The protest wasn't just about the monarchy in general, it was also about exposing the deep corruption within the Duchy of Cornwall and the Duchy of Lancaster. For years, the public was kept largely in the dark about how these massive estates functioned, but now the truth is out. These duchies are essentially slumlord operations designed to enrich the royal family at the expense of hard-working people. King Charles and Prince William oversee these estates like medieval overlords, charging outrageous rents and keeping tenants trapped in exploitative agreements. Even charities, the NHS and the Ministry of Defence, institutions that exist to serve the public, are being forced to pay excessive fees just to use land controlled by these royal estates. This is not just unfair, it's morally repugnant. It's bad enough that the monarchy continues to exist as a publicly funded institution, draining millions from taxpayers every year. But the fact that they also run their private estates like corporate landlords, profiting off the struggles of ordinary people, is downright shameful. The protesters calling to ditch the duchies were absolutely right. These estates should be dismantled and their assets returned to the public. A few years ago, Republic staged a similar protest at another Commonwealth Day service. Charles's reaction at the time was telling. He looked as though he had seen a ghost. Perhaps, for a brief moment, he recognized that the tide was turning, that the reverence the monarchy once enjoyed was beginning to crumble. Last year's Commonwealth Day service lacked a protest, possibly because of Charles's cancer diagnosis. But let's be honest, his illness doesn't change the reality of the institution he represents. While some might have been momentarily sympathetic, the fact remains that he is a multi-millionaire king living in palaces while ordinary people struggle with soaring energy bills, an overburdened NHS, and a cost of living crisis. His personal health issues do not erase the monarchy's corruption, nor do they make it exempt from criticism. The monarchy loves to play the victim whenever public scrutiny increases. They portray themselves as unfairly targeted, as if they are just ordinary citizens trying to live their lives. But they are not ordinary citizens. They are part of an institution that has built its wealth and power through centuries of exploitation, manipulation, and self-serving propaganda. When the public pushes back, it's not unfair criticism, it's accountability. The question is no longer if the monarchy will fall, but when. The younger generations in Britain are overwhelmingly sceptical of the royal family. Polls show declining support, particularly among those under 40, who see the monarchy for what it truly is, an outdated, expensive, and unnecessary relic. The blind deference that previous generations held for the royals is disappearing, replaced by a growing demand for real democracy. In a modern society where merit should dictate success rather than birthright, the idea that one family should be placed above all others simply because of their ancestry is ludicrous. The monarchy serves no meaningful purpose beyond being a distraction, a glorified tourist attraction that costs the public far more than it contributes. The argument that the monarchy brings in tourism is laughable. Tourists visit Buckingham Palace because of its history, not because they want to see Charles wave from a balcony. France abolished its monarchy over 2 centuries ago, and Versailles still attracts millions of visitors every year. Britain could do the same, without the cost of maintaining a royal family. More and more people are waking up to the reality that Britain doesn't need a king or queen. It needs leaders who are elected based on their abilities, not their bloodline. It needs a system that prioritizes the well-being of its citizens over the preservation of an outdated institution. The protesters outside Westminster Abbey weren't just a minor inconvenience for the royal family, they were a sign of the inevitable change coming. And honestly, the most interesting thing about this event, that bizarre T-Rex statue nearby, which ironically might be the perfect metaphor for the monarchy itself, outdated, pointless, and on the verge of extinction. Thanks for tuning in, squaddies. You guys are amazing, and I can't thank you enough for the love and support. If you had a good time, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss out on the vibes. Let's keep this community growing. Share it with your friends. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay awesome, stay inspired, and keep those good vibes flowing. Keep crushing it, squaddies.